The hour is late. I will be brief, but to the point. At 17 years of age, I too, like Willie Gary, was a busboy at Howard Johnson Restaurant. And I could have been Michael Brown because that particular weekend in July of 1952, my father's second vehicle was in the shop, and I was left at the Howard Johnson Restaurant to lock up the place when two police officers drove up in a car, jumped out, squat position, guns pointed at me less than 10 feet away. And they said, "Who are you?" I said, "I'm the busboy." "Oh, I bet you do." I said, "Really, Mr. Overton, one of the owners left me here. They arrested me, put me in a squad car. Fortunately, they took me to Mr. Overton's home, and I didn't get a criminal record." But that seared in my soul a passion not only to be a lawyer, but to be a civil rights lawyer, because I dreamed of becoming a lawyer. Even as a youngster, when they told me there was no future for Negro lawyers in 1952, because Negroes didn't have any money and white people wouldn't hire you. But I went to Howard from Spotsylvania County, Virginia. Valedictorian of my high school class, but I hadn't had geometry and my English wasn't up to speed. I had to take 2 high school remedial courses my first semester in college. And I made all A's, and I went to the dean and pled with him to take 23 hours to make up for the 6 hours shortfall. And I made all A's, and that started my civil rights journey. I was number 1 in my class at Howard University. And Howard designated me as a spokesperson on the Adam Clayton Powell program, Protesting Segregation in America, in the fall of 1953, before Brown was even decided. And every Saturday I was on black radio or Negro radio with Adam Clayton Powell, saying that a Negro should be judged by the quality of his performance, not by the color of his skin or accident of his birth. May 17, the Supreme Court decided Brown, and in October 1954, I faced death for you, so you could be here today. Because I became the first plaintiff in Brown versus Board of Education to compel the rebellious Southern state to comply with Brown. I became the lead plaintiff with Thurgood Marshall representing me in the Commonwealth of Virginia case to destroy massive resistance under threats of death of being kidnapped and lynched by the Ku Klux Klan. I may be alive today only because of Governor Forbes. When Forbes threatened to close the schools in Arkansas, they settled my case. I was the person in the case before the court system when in 1955, before the Little Rock case. Then I went on to New York law school because Virginia paid for me to go there. And they gave me a faculty scholarship. I finished in the top of my class, and I ended up with the highest job in government, one that I've only been permitted to reveal to the public in the last 3 to 4 years. I was a special assistant to Robert Kennedy and JFK in monitoring the Martin Luther King movement, much like a CIA agent, where I was to make sure the Communist Party would not infiltrate it, to make sure that the FBI did not engage in racist practices, to make sure the black leaders did not commit any crimes. For 3.5 years, I had to operate like a CIA agent. I was Bobby Kennedy's eyes and ears for the president from January 21, 1961 till October 10, 1964. And then when he ran for the Senate, I went to the U.S. Attorney's Office. But then I got pulled back into the civil rights matter because when Martin was assassinated, I was appointed over the police office in the police operations in D.C. by the mayor to make sure they would not commit police brutality. to make sure they would not commit civil rights violations. And to fast forward, I was appointed to the bench at 34 years of age as the assistant to Judge Sirica and handled Watergate cases that led to the resignation of Richard Nixon. Jump forward as a result of that history. Today I stand before you as the chairperson of a new commission established by the Episcopal Church of America to bring in all of the religions of America to eliminate racial and national origin discrimination in this country. I'm to head 3 committees, much like the Otto Kerner Commission in the 60s, to come up with the Civil Rights Act of 2020, to eradicate and eliminate racism and implicit bias throughout this nation by 2020. Hopefully, if Hillary Clinton is elected, that will have a much better chance than we. But at this point, I'm to head the entire religious community of this nation to come up with recommendations to the President, to the Speaker of the House, Majority Leader of the Senate, and all 50 governors of what this country could look like with your help, with your assistance, with your showing that talent and intellectual ability rests equally with all people. And I'm fortunate to do that because in addition to blessing me to reach almost, in a few months, 82 years of age,
Bless you.
I am the father of the inventor. I am the father of the inventor of Viagra. And while I'm not Willie Garrett, and I don't think my son and he have the money that Willie Garrett has, I am financially free to basically run 5 nonprofits and be the judge in residence at Howard University to finish the unfinished business of Thurgood Marshall and Martin Luther King.
All right, Judge. Well, thanks, brother.